Let's bring in Matthew McConaughey. Matthew is going to join us here on our Zoom. He's written a new children's book called Just Because, which is out now, which has skyrocketed to the top. I was just reading here that his new children's book has gone to debuted at number 1 on the New York Times bestseller list. There he is.
Hello.
Eminem, how are you, sir?
We're good this morning out here on the West Coast. Second cup of tea. Kids are doing well. School is happening, and the day is getting on.
So I want to ask you about that. Because we're a morning show, our morning routine is so important, right? Like, we're part of a routine, but everything we do before we come on the air, if one thing goes wrong, it kind of throws us off. What is is tea your morning routine? Is that like, give me some detail of what happens when you get up?
So, I mean, look, I'm going to say howdy, good morning, talk to you. Got to get my brain working. I like to be up a couple of hours before. I'd be a little slower than I maybe already am if I woke up just 30 minutes. So give me a couple of hours, get up. I'll do a little bit of stretching while I'm having my tea. Don't mind grabbing the old,
what's that thing called?
Theragun.
The Theragun vibe. Yeah.
Hyper ice.
You happen to have it right here in your lap right now? It's very convenient. You got your Theragun.
He's riding shotgun right here. Get the kiddos up, try to get them started so they can take their time. Same thing with them. Kids are, they're not as good if they rush in the morning. Take our time to have breakfast. Take our time. My son's reading some scrolls right now for a morning start of the day. Get everything kind of set up. Talk about what our day is going to be with the kids. Just made them some toast. Taking their time. They're ready. They're out the door, and here we are.
Here we are. Yeah, I think not rushing. I spent a lot of my life rushing, and I learned as I got a little older that rushing actually is a little bit toxic for me. Like it just puts you in a weird headspace all day.
It's a good thing to be able to do. I used to be pretty good at it. I mean, we've all had those things. We wake up, we go, oh my gosh, I overslept. I got to get it in game in 5 minutes. And sometimes you go in and you perform great. Yeah. Or you stop, but then it catches
up to you. Time goes by.
Yeah.
You talk about your kids, and I just mentioned congratulations. This book, Just Because, debuted at number 1 on the big list, the New York Times list. That's fantastic. And I saw your kids they celebrated with you through a little party.
Yeah, they did, man. Got home, balloons were out. Had cheeseburgers, favorite meal, and we sat there, and they were pretty excited about it.
Well, they must feel a little responsible for this.
I think they do on this one. I mean, the first book I wrote, Greenlight's been hanging around a little bit. I don't think none of us really knew what to expect with that because I'd never written a book before. But this one came out, and I kind of had gone over what this book was about with them and talked to them about, hey, you inspired some of these couples because these are conversations we've had. And so I think they have a little more ownership with Just Because.
So what's the lesson in the 2 words, Just Because?
Oh, the lesson with Just Because. I mean, it's that 2 things can be true at once. I mean, my kids, all our kids and adults do it too sometimes. It's like, oh, I'm excited, but I'm nervous. Mm-hmm. That okay? That these 2 feelings feel like they're fighting and they're opposing. Well, no, they're not. That's normal to be excited and nervous at the same time. And not only is that normal, that's okay. I think to let kids know that you can have 2 dueling feelings at the same time is okay. I think it's okay. You got to let them know that, hey, you may have screwed up today. Mm-hmm. You can make it tomorrow. Mm-hmm. You may have dominated today and you may bogey tomorrow. That's okay too. So I'm just kind of letting them know that, kids are told these days, they have more and more pressure on them at a younger age to be absolute about who they are, what they want to do, and how they feel about everything. Well, that's kind of, I think, partially
it's kind of rigid, isn't it? It's very rigid
early on.
Yeah.
Life where you're measuring things, you're learning who you are, you're learning how the world works. So I've just packaged some sort of adult themes in a kid package with a rhyme and a ditty and some illustrations to let kids know the context of living and the poetry of life as you go forward and as they do.
All right, Matthew McConaughey. It's called Just Because, by the way, which is out now. And I saw you on TV, I think everywhere, but and I know you talked about it, but you were sleeping? You were sleeping when
I was dreaming.
And you remember your dreams.
And I was dreaming.
You remember your dreams, and you make something out of them, huh?
If they're good ones, there's a lot of dreams I think we all have that you're damn glad to wake up to, that you're like, oh, reality's better than thinking about, right? Yeah. Sometimes you got good ones. And this was a ditty in my head. It was a sort of a Bob Dylan riff, and just because I got skills don't mean there is no luck. And it was and so I kind of woke up and kept the rhythm in my head and started writing down for about 4 hours. And, when you got a good dream, you don't want to interrupt that rhythm of your thought. And this was one of those. Wrote it down, looked at it. Next day, I was like,
Did you write it down in the night?
Yeah, I wrote it down. I woke up at 2:30 and wrote from 2:30 to 6:30 in the morning.
Oh, wow.
That's what's in the book.
Can you get up? Can you be in a dream that's a thoughtful or productive dream, use the bathroom, come back, and then turn the dream back on?
Yeah, the old bathroom can interrupt the rhythm.
So I'm having that. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, it is when you get up, if you do anything else, usually it interrupts the flow. But if you can stay in that little spot of being conscious but unconscious, half asleep, and make that a slow merge into writing or writing it down, I usually find that helps remember.
In the zone. Matthew McConaughey. Well, great to see you, pal. Thanks so much for coming on. Happy for all the wonderful things you're doing, including Just Because, which is out now.
Appreciate you having me.
Have a good day. See you, pal.
As well.